What up, bitches? It's the misanthropic one, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant. PhilogyNoir and the destruction of the black family. Shout out to Truth Teller 410, JD Black, unadulterated RA or Ra shit. Y'all are gonna love this video. PhilogyNoir is a fellow YouTuber that I happened to stumble across because of my, if you have a YouTube account and you sign on, and because of the videos you watch in the past, you have recommended videos. And this female put up a video. I think the title of it is "Are Black Women Responsible for the Destruction of the Black Family?" or whatever, and something along those lines. And I was curious. I looked at it. I saw it was about 8-9 minutes, so I clicked on it and said, let me see what she's talking about. And first of all, very beautiful, attractive black woman. So for those of you that are gonna come here and say, well, you hate black women, no, that's not true. Very beautiful, intelligent, articulate black woman. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. I originally wasn't gonna do this video, but there was something that she said something that she said that kind of got under my skin. So I kind of this is just me getting this off my chest. And I'll get to that further in the video. She was talking about how in the video, basically, these are talking points that you hear all the time when black men will talk about, well, black women are solely responsible. Well, look, and let me get that out of the way too. I don't believe that black women are solely responsible, but I'll say majority of the blame lies on your shoulders. I will say that. But during these arguments, these things come up. Well, it's racism, it's white supremacy, it's white people that are coming out. They want to destroy you and this, and they want to destroy family, the black family. They're plotting against you, this and that. Look, when we had segregation, when we were segregated, you had a strong black family structure. Number one, you could look that up. You had a strong family structure before integration, before any of that shit. You had black millionaires, because we knew all we had was us at the time. Integration was one thing that fucked the black race up. That was one thing. Number one. Integration, social integration, not so much. Cultural integration and economic integration fucked us up. One of the points that you're missing, that I think is one of the pieces that, I don't want to come off like I'm dissing this woman, but I viewed your video as kind of naive to me, because one of the things that is clearly obvious where black women fucked up is they jumped on the bandwagon of feminism. That was number two. The two things that fucked up the black culture, African American race, was integration and feminism. Black women jumping on the white feminist movement, because white women approached you and said, hey, listen, we don't really need men to get anywhere in this society. Come on, we could do our own thing. Black women agreed, didn't hesitate, and they used that. A lot of women today will use you'll still hear the phrase, I don't need a man. That came from that. That was a byproduct of that. So, instead of black women turning around and taking advantage of that, going into the workforce and saying, well, you know what? Our man is going to work. Why don't I just go to work, come back and double the income in the household? You know what I mean? What white women did was, and mind you, this was during the civil rights movement. So mind you, racism or segregation just was on, sort of dissipating. So, you would think that, let me be a little bit smart around these white women. Let me get what I could get. Because a lot of them at the time were very racist and bigoted. They didn't just drop that because, well, we're desegregated now. So a lot of them really didn't give a fuck about your well-being, but you still jumped on it anyway. Now, instead of you saying, well, let me just be cautious around them, go get what I need to get and bring it back home. Nah, y'all said, fuck this. We could just go get what we need to get. Now, with that whole ideology of I don't need a man, a lot of black people like to hang on to Willie Lynch. Oh yeah, it's a Willie Lynch letter. This a slave master or slave driver came up with this. Listen, first of all, that got debunked by not only black professors but white professors as well, because the language was way ahead of its time. That language and vernacular didn't exist. It got debunked. So if you want to hang on to a Willie Lynch ideology, hang on to this whole I don't need a man shit, because that has transcended time. And when you as a black woman are raising not only daughters but sons that will emulate your behavior, because women are more emotional than men are. And there's nothing wrong with having emotions, but you need a balance in the home. You need emotion, you need stability, logic, you need all of this common sense. When you have, especially young boys, seeing mommy on her period, getting upset over dumb shit, guess what that boy is gonna do? He's gonna start to emulate that and go out into the world. He's gonna go out. This is why we have these situations that go on today. Not just clashing with cops, not just all these issues with cops when Negroes ended up shot. What about Negroes running into other Negroes that have the same family structure that there is today? This is why you can have a nigga walk up in a bar to another nigga, bump him, spill beer on this Negro's shoe, and then the other Negro turns around and want to shoot him. Why? Because there's no logic, there's no conflict resolution. None of these guys are gonna say, you know what? My bad, bro. Here, listen. Let me just buy you a beer on the house. Let me get you a drink. Sorry about that. No, that doesn't happen. Why? Because they see that. Look, I'm gonna grow up. No one can tell me shit. This, that, and the third. Like, no, you don't know how to talk yourself down, de-escalate a situation. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna react. I'm gonna overreact. So this is something that is very, very, very blatant, very out there in the black community. What else was she referring to? She was referring to, and let me throw this out there. I'm not denying racism, that racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. Racism is something that just is. You know what I mean? It's something that you got too many races on the planet, different types of people, different cultures, and they're gonna all look for a reason to justify why they're the best. And skin color and analyzing different types of behavior is just a byproduct of that. It just is what it is, you know what I mean? And once you come to grips with that, which leads me into my next point, because she was talking about, we don't have the power to oppress, and we're the oppressed ones, and a white supremacy. Look, let me just crush this all at once. You can't sit around and say you're oppressed when if you go and start a conversation about rich females, there's going to be one name in common that in every situation that people are going to bring up. If you bring up rich females, there's one black woman, Oprah Winfrey. How the fuck if you can sit there and say, well, we're oppressed, and you look at Oprah Winfrey, who is a multi-billionaire, who not only has wealth, but she also has power as well. That crushes any type of white supremacy notion that you should have, because white supremacy is basically saying, look, we're white people. White people aren't gonna let none of you niggas get up. None of you niggas get shit. You know what I mean? That's supremacy, total dominance. But there are multiple black billionaires. I mean, one of my favorites is a guy that I just researched. His name is Robert Smith. He's very quiet, second richest black person in America. He made the cover of Forbes in 2015, last year, and he owns a equity firm. And he said this, I think he was talking about racism. He goes, yeah, it exists. He goes, I know that's the reason why certain companies won't back me, but evidently here I am. Basically, he's telling you, I didn't use that as my crutch. I didn't say, well, they won't back me, so I'm done. No, the motherfucker's a multimillionaire. Shout out to Robert Smith. Go look him up. She was mentioning that, we don't have the power to oppress. Well, I kind of have to beg to differ on that, because, as much as James Brown has said, this is a man's world, I beg to differ, because men may run certain things, but a lot of this, especially, the justice system is catered towards women, especially when you'll turn around, you'll deal with a nigga that ain't shit, and you'll want to go sue him for child support and fuck him up. And that's another point. Let me get to this. This is what made me make the video, because you said, I'm sick of hearing that, we should have known that this Negro was a deadbeat, and we should have known that this nigga wasn't about shit. Now, mind you, I'm paraphrasing, but it takes two to make a child. Now, you are right about that. It does take two, and I'm not taking up for deadbeat ass dudes. That's not what this video is about. But I will say this: the accountability is more on your head, because you should require a guy to have certain prerequisites before even dealing with the dude. You know what I mean? A lot of black women subscribe to Christianity. That's just a fact. They're sitting up in a black church. Now that doctrine says you shouldn't be fucking out of wedlock, right? But you will come out, you'll deal with a dude that, mind you, ain't shit. As a black woman, there's multiple black women nowadays getting educated. Kudos to you. Getting jobs as CEOs, high-ranking positions. Kudos to you again. But some of these same women will deal with dudes that are bottom of the barrel, simply because you hear, well, I want to change him. You hear stupid ass shit like that, and this nigga ain't shit. He doesn't have anything. Now, I'm not saying if a guy is working like a menial job, that doesn't mean that he's a bad person or he ain't shit. But he has to he should be able to meet certain requirements by you. Like, look, for example, the dude's working at, I don't know, fucking McDonald's or whatever, but he's going to night school, or he's going to better himself. He's trying to be a doctor or some shit. Yeah, deal with him then, because there's something there. You know what I mean? But a lot of you women don't require that. You'll sit and deal with I want the bad boy. I want to deal with this dude. I want a thug nigga. This is what you want. You don't want to deal with a dude that may be deemed a square and that is trying to get his shit together, or is on his way to getting his shit together. You want to deal with that nigga that ain't shit, this Negro, yeah, just smokes weed all day, sitting on the corner, doing this and that. Meanwhile, you're getting your shit together, and that's a dude you choose to procreate with. Now, there are certain examples where single black women, you know, they may have been raped or they had a dude and they're widowed or whatever. Listen, of course there's circumstances that can't be helped, but, you know, you can't sit there and say, well, you know, that doesn't matter, that, you know, oh, we should have known that the guy was a deadbeat, but that doesn't matter. No, that does matter, because that just goes to show you that that dude ain't about taking care of no kid. There's certain things that you can see, okay, that Negro is responsible. I can mess with him. I could deal with this dude. You know, so at least if this dude got something, okay, I could see he kind of has a head on his shoulders. So we could both, you know, if we have a child, you know, or if I'm ready to have a child, I know that this dude, I'm secure with him being there. But if you get with this nigga and this Negro is just whatever, just busting nuts, and, you know, listen, you kind of got to take the brunt of that. You got to, you know, and on top of that, there's multiple ways, you're the ultimate decision maker when it comes to having a child anyway. So that's just a fucking fact. So yeah, that was the driving point for me to make this video, because I'm sick and tired of women running around saying, well, that doesn't matter who we sleep with. No, it does. It matters a hell of a lot, you know. And again, guys should be responsible initially, you know. Strap up, you know. If you don't have anything and you're about to bust, pull out. I mean, why am I telling you this? You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, there's so many things that are a byproduct of just moms, just single mothers. You know, you have the hijacking of Father's Day. You have the swirling epidemic. I mean, this just goes on and on and on and on and on. But I don't want to keep rambling. I do want to mention one more thing. She talked about the patriarchy. She was saying that, you know, basically us black men are looking at it as an attack on our manhood, because they're saying, oh, you know, basically saying, oh, the matriarchy is taking over and blah, 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 blah. And you're complaining saying women can't raise boys, but is it true that you men can raise girls? Like, how does that make sense? And I'll leave it at this. If you look at any family that is a single parent family, that they may be raising a child or maybe two, whatever, and that the father is there, it's very rare that you hear anything come out of that household or out of that family. But on the other hand, just look at the black community. I mean, you had Sheriff, is it Robert or David Clark? I forget his name. He went on national TV and said it himself. He goes, when you look at all this trouble that black youth is in, he goes, there's one common denominator. They're coming, these youth are coming from single family households run by who? Black women. So I want to shout out Painless Risen, because, you know, again, feminism is the mark I think you're missing, PhilogyNoir. Painless Risen said this. He goes, y'all black women fucked up when you chose gender over race. And a lot of, there's an African proverb, I'm gonna leave you with this. There's an African proverb, and some of y'all that are fans of mine and fans of my man David Carroll, shout out to David Carroll, y'all know what I'm about to say. Old African proverb that goes, a culture or race can rise no higher than the moral standards or standings of its women. You know, you want to be the backbones of the black community? There it is. Again, it's not about, you know, patriarchy wants to take over. There needs to be a balance, both people in a child's life. So much like my hip-hop reviews, I'm gonna leave a rating or a percentage at the end of this. If you were to ask me you know, because I don't put it solely on the black woman, but if you were to ask me how I would, what percentage I would put on it, I would put a 70-75 on black women. I would put 30-25 on black men. That's what I would do, because, you know, again, the driving point was, you know, you sitting there and having a lack of accountability, essentially, and I can't let that pass. I'm sorry, I couldn't let it go. I was gonna just sit there. I wasn't even gonna leave a comment, but you know, this is important, I believe, and I believe a lot of brothers as well as a lot of women need to watch this and understand where the argument stems from. It doesn't stem from fucking slavery or white supremacy and none of that bullshit. It just doesn't. So yeah, that's it. I think I rambled long enough. Everybody else, y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate. Most of all, subscribe, and that's it. Peace, bitches.